Homo sapiens have moved even further and are now equipped with small rectangular devices which substitute any need for face-to-face communication. From day one, our parents tell us don't talk to strangers, and it sticks. But why?
Excuse me? Sorry, could I just get 2 minutes? I was wondering if you would be willing to answer some questions for a short documentary we're making for school. You're filming? No? Okay. Cool. Excuse me? Sorry, would you be comfortable asking some questions? And literally just walked directly past me. Didn't even give me some questions for a... Okay, don't worry about it. Cheers. No? Okay. That guy, literally, I was like, do you mind answering some? And he just went. 40 years ago, do you think that people would have been more comfortable interacting with each other on the street, to say?
Yes or no. It's yes or no, because sometimes it's good and sometimes it isn't. And sometimes you meet a friend who talk to you from school and college, or friend of the family. Sometimes you meet somebody who maybe is not so friendly.
Yeah.
You know?
Not that I'm very old, but when I was younger, the way sort of I communicated with my friends was a lot different than it is today. I feel like it's a lot better. You have more meaningful conversations. You're able to relate better through social media. People are talking to strangers, meeting strangers. Obviously, there's the danger to that if you're not careful. But even putting the danger aside, I think a lot of people spend time using social media to communicate with other people, and they don't develop social skills in person, which is very valuable later on in their life.
I mean, most of them, I think it's because of social networking. A lot of people using the internet to talk with each other. Actually, once I saw a couple just on the road, talk on each of them on the phone, instead of talking to each other. So I believe that most of us, I may include myself into it, most of us using more social network instead of talking to people.
And do you think the level of social exclusion, not just in the UK but worldwide, do you think it's a problem?
I think it's heading to be a problem. The fact that, again, social media, Facebook, Twitter, all of those sorts of things are becoming a bit bigger, really. And you can have whole conversations and whole days with people without actually talking to somebody face to face. I think that could be a bit of a concern. I don't know. Watch that space.
Do you think it's a problem, or do you think there's a benefit?
It's kind of problem, but there's a benefit because you can, with the internet, you can, reach more big audience. But it is a big problem if we don't speak as it was before. Old age, I would say. I think it's a little bit problem that we don't discuss with each other anymore as it was before.
It's a problem.
Do you want to say why? So if someone were to come up to you and try and just start a conversation out of nowhere in the street, would you go along with it?
I think your initial reaction, it's quite a shock, especially I think in Britain we're a little bit we don't tend to interact with people as much. I think it's part of our culture.
Would you have a conversation with them?
I'll make love to them.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a bit awkward. It happened to me before, and I always try to avoid to speak with people on the road because you never know who's you're talking to. So normally you always stand back.
I'm a bit biased because I'm a speech therapist, so I think it's really important. But yeah, I think it's tricky, especially when the media tells you that you have to be careful.
I'm very influenced by media, by commercials, by advertisements, through posters, flyers, things like that. What was I gonna say? So yeah, it's a big influence. Obviously now the news organizations and talk shows use a lot of Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp, so you can send photos and things like that, which are positive to a certain extent, but in terms of reading tweets and things like that on a news broadcast show, it seems a little bit weird.
That's what made the world go round. That's how you have the interaction, the strength of the interactive. It knits together like scaffolding. So coordinates and then it makes a better day. Life is too short.
Hello. How are you? You good? My name's Ryan. You don't want to shake my hand? Why? Oh, right. Oh, right. I didn't know that. If it was like, if we were just like alone up here. I'm Ryan. You're Sarah? Yes. Yeah? Ryan? Nice to meet you. Ryan? So, basically, I just wanted to talk, really. Just because, like, I don't feel people talk enough. Do you want to talk? I don't know. Well, I want to talk about the fact that people don't want to talk. You know? Like, if someone actually came up to you on the street and did what I just did, would you want to talk to them? Yeah. Well, that's a problem.
I don't think I would talk to someone on the street.
Why?
Because people are weird.
What's the difference between people on the street and me?
Well, you are a similar age to me, and
Okay.
I roughly know you.
Okay.
And
But I could be just as dangerous as the guys on the street. Do you think that's a problem? No? You don't think it would be better if, like, people wanted to talk? That's a good point. Who do you think made you think that? Or do you think you thought that originally? Like that was your own thought? So your parents told you not to talk to strangers. But would you say that everyone who would come up and talk to you was a dangerous person? So do you think maybe there's like too much of that fear everyone around you think?
especially in a city like London, because if you talk to a random person on the street, you are either going to get mugged, attacked, or you're going to disappear for a couple of weeks.
Or they're going to walk right past you and pretend you don't exist.
That's the best.
Would you be comfortable asking questions? To be honest with you, I feel like before we did this documentary project, I looked at social exclusion as a bit of a non-issue. I felt like people spend a lot of time keeping them to themselves, but that's okay and that's natural. And I genuinely just thought that it wasn't much of a problem the way that a lot of people made it seem. After we wrapped on the documentary, there was a real sense of perspective that it gave me. I was able to think more deeply about why people might use social media to escape from reality, and it kind of gave this whole idea of social exclusion a bit more of a deeper meaning, because it wasn't just, oh, people don't want to talk to each other. It was a genuine feeling of that there's something wrong with our neighbors and the masses, that we should stay away from them. And it was interesting to see all the different perspectives come from different people of different ages, and what growing up maybe in the 80s or 70s did to someone as opposed to growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's an interesting correlation. Being rejected over and over again, it definitely isn't easy to walk up to people and place your trust in them that you can come up to them and be open, and that they will be open back. And it's very, at least for the first few times, it's very shocking when they either just completely ignore you or harshly say no and walk away, because it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, even though all you want to do is just talk to them. And there's nothing actually wrong with what you're doing, but people give off a sense that it is. What this experience is going to make me do differently is probably not a huge amount, because I feel like people are quite ingrained in their ways, that it's not going to make me talk to people on the street randomly just because I want to, and I don't even think I do want to. But I think what it will do is when I see people on the street just on their phone or buried in a tablet or even a book, I'll be able to have a deeper understanding of the fact that there might be a reason that they're shutting themselves out, or there might be a reason that they're not interacting with their fellow members of society. And I don't think it's always so black and white. I think there's a lot more layers to everything than meets the eye.